They will be coming. I was only told about one other that was not gonna be here.
Hello, Zoom. Can you hear us okay out there?
Hi, Bill. Can you hear me?
Sure thing. I've got you good. Thank you. Great. Town manager's on Zoom.
Okay.
She'll be giving us that report today. I'll move the view up when that happens. And we're 5 minutes out, I think.
So who are we all having on the call today?
On the call, I'm not sure if Baseline is gonna be on.
Sure.
You met those guys that
Yeah.
are, we
I
didn't
think
Zoom with
Ben
them.
told me he was not gonna be present, that's what he said.
Oh, did he say? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's, I actually, those guys are always helpful, you know, but they're on the town dime, and so I appreciate them being cognizant of that.
Yeah.
Just,
okay.
you know, trying to, but I'm sure they're there if you need them.
Yeah, I'm not too worried about that. I guess just other town members are gonna be on the call. They couldn't be here in person. or-
Yeah, I have the town manager on Zoom
Okay.
as well, and, she is, can you hear me right now, Becky? I think she can hear me.
I can hear you. I apologize for not being there in person, you guys. I'm a little bit under the weather.
No worries.
You're doing great. Thanks for making it on Zoom.
I still think that it'll pretty hefty.
I saw.
That was good. So,
So,
yeah.
Ben said that he sent a memo about his meeting tonight.
I do have that in the packet in here, yeah. And the commissioners got this packet ahead of the meeting so that they had some time with it. And let me make sure. Oh, I didn't put it in the packet, but I did send it to the commissioners.
Okay.
So the commissioners do have that memo.
No, but I can just hear everybody. No one's hearing me.
Have what?
Have enough people.
Oh.
If we don't have enough people, then it's not official.
Oh.
I apologize for making all of it. It's not official unless we, we can't do anything. At least one more of our people in.
Yeah.
Get a little worried.
Mayor, do you have Commissioner Fry's number handy?
Yes.
No. He walks here sometimes. He likes fucking over.
Mhm. I'll say hello too. Hi.
What is your name?
I'm Anne
I'm Josh. And Ish?
And Spear.
I'm
And
Steve.
Spear, yeah.
I'm Steve Ish.
I'm seeing you a lot on Facebook too. Stacy and Gary.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, our properties, our house is not in floodplain.
Mike?
Property.
Hey, this is
Todd.
Majority of our property is.
Yeah,
Just
it's
got
right
back,
by the, would you
Black Bear Restaurant Century.
Then it's our property, it's a
Yeah.
split rail fence.
Yeah.
In October? Oh, we're having one tonight too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we're just looking for a simple definition change and we can discuss without. Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Yeah, we're here. We're here.
Yeah. How long have you been in
Okay.
Colorado?
Okay, okay, yeah, we're here. Okay.
Oh, wow. No way.
Mike's coming.
It's on Colorado.
He's on his way.
So 5 minutes.
Yeah. Give it five.
About 5 more minutes.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm gonna Zoom, I just wanna let you know
Yeah,
that we
they
are
asked
here.
that. Yeah.
No, we're here, we've been here for 20 some odd years, he was
Born and raised, so I'm a
in this
native.
Manitou,
You
but
know, Green Mountain Falls is very important to me. It's my home, right? So, and, yeah, but we're all from Colorado and,
you know, we moved up here in, what, 89, bought a property and been living there and built a house on that piece of property. So, we had 4 kids. And,
I'm the oldest, yeah. I just turned 35.
Oh, he's a minister.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, okay. Does your grandchild go to, did he go here, is it he or she? Oh, okay.
I don't have anything coming in to me directly from Mike and Marco.
A lot of
Yeah.
Kansas people on there.
He made contact with Mike.
Yeah, back then.
You might want to contact Rocco sometime and just see if he's just bowing out altogether, because he hasn't been at several meetings now.
Yeah,
So, and if he gives you some, well, as long as this is that, then you
wow.
probably ought to just
Yeah.
resign. He's not gonna come to the meetings.
Didn't answer and he didn't respond to the text, so.
You as a,
No,
well, the board can obviously say
Actually,
bye-bye, but we wouldn't do that until.
not now,
Yeah.
but I need to know how many he's missed lately. Not
Okay.
now.
I make those notes at the top of all the minutes, I can check that.
Thank you.
But he's most likely.
Well, summer's busy, so I want to have a conversation with him,
Yeah.
but
And these are conversations, but
Yeah.
it may
I
be.
feel like it has been a few, but I'm wondering if he's got something going on, because he has come to
Maybe
like
in the 60s.
make public comment at some of your meetings.
Oh,
And, you know, and so like, it seems like
I
there's,
wonder if it's a little bit of a rebellion because of baseline.
mm,
oh, wow.
you know,
And, you know, if that's the case, the police just leaves.
I usually do hear from him before.
Okay.
And so today is unusual,
yeah,
you know, even he has, it's usually been like a communication thing,
no,
like, hey, I'm not gonna make it, and I don't ask a lot of
I'm
questions.
not gonna make any prejudgments,
Yeah,
but
as long as they're
But
telling
this
me
is
that
unusual.
Not gonna make it,
Yeah,
so we don't get
Oh, wow.
this. Now, Mike didn't realize there was a meeting tonight.
Sure.
He's kind of been.
So your kids in North Carolina still? Oh, okay.
I got that seat. I got the whoopee cushion seat.
They all kind of do that. If you, I've trained myself to like,
And ladylike.
yeah, slow down a little on the landing,
Yeah.
you know?
That's a good way of putting it.
Are you still, willing or able to travel at all to see them? You still get up now? Yeah, like I said, I wouldn't imagine you would day past 70, so whatever you're doing is really working. It sounds like staying busy.
Yeah, and after.
And I always came to the meetings when they were like, we never be in the government, because I'm the vote. And voting.
Yes. And now here you are.
Yeah.
Is Mike on his way?
I believe so.
Yes,
Never heard of him.
yes.
Well, this would be very interesting.
Yeah.
It was so nice and nice.
Thank you for coming over.
You know, it's a small town, isn't it, Mayor? We try to.
Yeah.
It's very complicated.
Yeah.
I'd take this over Denver any day though.
Hey, there you go.
Yeah.
How are you doing?
Man of the hour.
I could use some cookies.
Oh, you
Or
do?
brownies, whichever you prefer.
Okay. I didn't hear about this meeting. How did you? I didn't get an email on it. Did you send out an email on this?
Yeah.
Did you? I got one from October 14th, but I didn't get one for today.
I shot it, it would have gone out, Friday.
Mhm.
No. Well, I was.
I think it did it like first thing Friday morning.
I
We had
was
to
having
board.
computer problems back then. That was
Okay,
probably
thanks.
why I didn't get it.
Hey, we made it. We're only a few minutes past the go, so I
Okay.
think we're in good spirits.
Calling this meeting to order is 6:37. All right, I've already done the tech check for all of our speakers, so that part's done. And we are just missing Commissioner Bonwell and Commissioner Blasey. All right. Okay, moving on to the agenda. Does anyone have any additions or corrections? Or anything they want to add?
Nope.
Do we have a motion to accept the agenda?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carried. Moving on. All right. Consent agenda for last month's meeting. Does anyone have any questions or corrections for last month's meeting notes? Okay. So do we have a motion to accept the agenda?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. All right. Moving on to the next topic. Now we get to y'all. All right, so 3 minutes per speaker. If you end up needing to speak a little longer, just let us know. State your name, address for the record. Please remember to push the button to turn on the mic so everybody else that's dialing in can hear you. And welcome. Thank you so much.
Okay, my name is Stacy McGarry and I live at 10385 Ute Pass Avenue, Green Mountain Falls. I'm here tonight with my husband Steve and my oldest son of my 4 children, Josh McGarry. And all of my kids were all born and raised here in Green Mountain Falls area, which is really has been a really wonderful thing. We love the area and hope that we continue to live here. And anyway, this is what we're here for tonight. I'll just go ahead and say that we have lived on our 2.4 acre property on Ute Pass Avenue for almost 20 years. We built our house in 2005. Currently, we have been planning to put a tiny home on our property to use as a rental and or eventually use it for our elderly parents to live in. The place where we are planning to put it is in a spot with plenty of room around it from every side, and we already have electrical and water hooked up, which has passed inspection for the site. We have also had a septic system designed and received a permit from El Paso County Public Health. The excavator is waiting for the okay to start on that. Since the location will be in the floodplain, this is the main reason we want a tiny home as opposed to a home with a permanent foundation. The tiny home is on wheels and can be moved if need be. This makes perfect sense. We do not want to have to build the home 3 feet up and put in a permanent foundation. We want to do as little destruction as possible to this beautiful piece of property surrounded by aspen trees. Our case is an exception because of the amount of the land that we have to put the tiny home on, which is very unique to all of the other areas in Green Mountain Falls. The fact that we live also we live in our main dwelling on the property. We will always be there to look out for and oversee this tiny home. We can put a skirt around the tiny home so that it looks like it has a foundation, and it is much safer to know that being in the floodplain, it can be moved at any time if need be. We are asking that you will reconsider the current code that prohibits some types of ADUs and how RVs are defined. This should be changed or amended so that we are allowed to move forward with our plan to put a tiny home on our property. And it should not be considered an RV. This will be a permanent dwelling structure and will not be moved unless in the event of an emergency. Also, just stating that I did get a email comment from Keith Curtis at the Pikes Peak Regional Building Department stating the same thing, that a permanent home would need to be installed with the lowest finished floor 3 feet above grade, no basements or crawl spaces, and a tiny home on wheels with detachable utilities would be ready to move, could be parked at grade. And one more thing, just a picture that everyone can kind of look at of what sort of an idea of what we have, where it would be and how that it would look good. It wouldn't be an eyesore to the town. It would be something that looks really nice, and we really take pride in our property and how it looks. And anyway, I'm gonna let Josh talk if he has time.
Oh, yeah. Thanks, Mama. Yeah, no, thanks for your time, guys. I'm Josh McGarry, their oldest son. It's really comes down to just a simple request. You know, we had a great conversation with Ben from Baseline. There needs to be more clarity on the definition of what an ADU RV really is. And he agrees that's not very clear, and we do need to amend that definition. And the reason why a tiny home on wheels shouldn't be considered an RV is because it's built for full-time living with better insulation, plumbing, and more permanent features. RVs are made for short-term use and travel, while tiny homes on wheels are more like small homes designed for everyday living. This makes them different from RVs, which are mainly for temporary stays. So I can confidently tell you that we have support from Ben from Baseline, and we wanted to present that to you, and I hope you guys aren't opposed to amending and making that definition change. And that is it for me.
Thank you.
Okay, that ends our public input. Any reports from the commissioners?
Report on other matters. Yes, I won't say too much, but
I push your button. There we go.
just for your information, most of the commissioners know this. I'm very interested in regulation 43 about the cesspools and things that would affect the village. So I've attended some public meetings, and I'm hoping they will start having meetings next month to talk about the regulations. And, anyway, I'm just keeping up with it, so. And then, I also was appointed by the trustees to be on the water quality committee of the Pikes Peak Area Council of Governments. And most of those people are engineers that run sewer plants. But, I can be on there and listen to what they have to say and tell them what we need, so, thank you.
Thank you for that, Ann. Do we have any reports from the staff?
I do have a report from Mayor Dixon, actually, and as well from the town manager, Becky Frank.
Yeah, so following on with Commissioner Benson's comments on Regulation 43. There's one statement in there, actually, Eagle County proposed some language on Regulation 43 that is extremely problematic in my opinion, because it basically says that anything that the state would prohibit at that point in time, it is therefore by definition a failed system. Yeah, and so there's already comments in the draft that say, okay, you're gonna deal with legacy systems and whatnot. My understanding is that this is going to be not finalized until March. I have inquired with the Colorado Department of Health, and then we send email questions to them. They sent me something back, they didn't know where I was going to start actually writing the specific documents, and locations for the documents. So yeah, it's something that would be incredibly, it's something that would be incredibly problematic if we got enough. Other things in October. Obviously, some of the potential code updates to consider the, and I'm hoping that we can work through these with, but on the back end one for us. The independent engineering review has obviously gotten a lot of attention here lately. Then also the paragraph about the reviewers in the town being responsible for compliance with state and federal requirements. This is pretty much it. We can't do that. We may need some additional clarification on an attached garage, because right now the definition is only detached, and attached tends to get lumped in with basically just your an addition, same as an addition. So we may need to clarify that. Then there's another one that's come up, has to deal with water retention for those rare floods. And I'm a little concerned about that one because it basically says you're gonna retain water in those extreme storms on site and then let it discharge at a rate that it would normally occur. In other words, we have basically for the town hall, we have this, whatever you want to call it, this basin, a cat basin, whatever it is. I'm not sure that that's a practical requirement with the town falls. Trying to retain water.
That would be concerning, because that would create a lot of flooding and property damage
Well,
in our area.
Yeah, the concern is when you get a lot of when we do development, we have these catch basins, for lack of a better term. And they fill up and then they basically discharge at a regular, with having what more normal rain. It's just how do you do that on a lot that's like 5,000 square feet? And especially when we have steep slopes, and I'm like, I'm not sure that's.
I don't think the geography actually allows for that here.
Yeah, I'm not sure it's a practical requirement for the town. And so these are,
Who's requiring
we
or
do,
proposing it?
we do, it's in our code right now.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm sure you did right. But yeah, that is actually part of the town code now. That's, hang on just.
Oh my God.
Do you know if that was required by somebody further up the chain? Or was that just
No, when we were,
our,
we had some goals when we were rewriting the code.
okay,
A lot of that was just trying to make the easy stuff easier. And a lot of this, basically, we worked obviously with an attorney and they gather information from various codes around. And I'm sure it's probably something that made it beyond what all the other codes.
okay.
But you know, it's under the stormwater paragraph, and it basically says, increases in runoff in the 10-year and 100-year frequency storms due to development, redevelopment, or change of use activity on the site shall be detained within the development and released at a rate no greater than existed prior to the development.
But that only means if you're doing some redevelopment, you gotta do something while you're under construction. It doesn't mean every place in town has to do that, does
I think it means, the way I'm reading it, I think it means anyone who comes up with, say they want to do a garage or an addition or something, they have to comply with that.
Is that a local rule that we put in?
That's in our code, right?
Self-inflicted, which means we can clarify it.
We can take it off,
We probably clarify it,
clarify it.
or again, when we're talking with the attorneys. Why did this come about? Do we as a community think we really need it?
A lot of that was boilerplate. That's what lawyers,
Was
they
boilerplate.
just borrow something from somebody else and stick it in.
So, yeah. So anyways, those are the items that I've identified through October so far. So, you'll have October. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Becky?
Hi, everybody. Sorry for not being there in person this evening with you. A couple of updates for you. As the mayor alluded to, we do have a work session planned for you on October the 14th at 5 p.m. here at Town Hall. This will be to work through some of the pain points that we as staff have identified in working with applicants in the code and implementing it. So we will have a list that has been compiled by staff and Baseline, as well as a member of our legal team, Austin Flanagan, who you all are familiar with, to help us work through those issues. Looking forward to smoothing some of these finer points out. Then in addition to that, we are preparing for our 2025 annual budget. This is an opportunity for you all to participate with recommendations from the Planning Commission as far as accomplishments for a 2025 work plan. We did send out a draft of kind of what a work plan could look like earlier today to the Planning Commission chairs and co-chairs, so that should be in your email. That work session with the Board of Trustees on the 2025 budget is scheduled for October the 29th, beginning at 5 p.m. So I wanted to make sure that you had an invite extended to you for that as well. And then lastly, Bo and our Julie from Baseline worked very hard on a little bit of a status update on projects that they have worked on, and the status of each of those you'll be able to see from that, and it is included in your packet. That we have worked through much of the backlog of planning applications. Many of the ones that are on there now stating in process is because they are waiting on a complete application, payment of fees, etc. So if you have any of those questions regarding any of those applications, please direct those to staff. Bo and I can answer those for you. But we hope to bring this to you probably quarterly as a kind of an update if you'd like to see it. In the meantime, we're happy to share it with you or any status updates on this, but plan to have this be part of your packet on a quarterly basis, unless we see a lot of movement or something in the ordinary. But now that we've worked through a bunch of our backlog, don't anticipate a ton of reason to have it on a monthly basis. That's all for me. Any questions on any of that information?
I did have a few comments. This, first of all, thank you so much for putting this together. This is a really good capture of where things are at. And I think it answers the question of that we have on the PC have been asking of just kind of at least having a basic idea without getting into all the details on everything. So thank you for that. One thing I would like to request, and I think this might make it more helpful for everyone. And again, this is a conversation, so let me know if there's a reason not to have it, but when it says in review, could we also have it where, you know, is it within the application process? Is it submitted to town staff? Is it at, you know, has it been submitted to the PC? Has it been submitted to whoever, so that we all collectively can have an idea of where it's at? And possibly the other thing that I'm used to seeing in project tracking is when it was sent to that next stage, so that if something falls through the cracks, or if there's an unduly long delay on any particular one, we as the town government can be aware of it. And again, that's not just for PC, but I think that would probably be useful for the trustees as well. Mayor?
Yeah, I've seen different formats of that, you know, there's like next action by, type columns or whatever. That's probably the most concise one. I remember from the program management days was the next action by,
Sure.
and if there's it's hard to do a next action by an applicant, put a date on it, because you never know where you're
And that's still in the application phase, but I mean, if it's, we've run into a few instances through nobody's fault, but just because of things that we're still trying to streamline, where it has sat too long in one segment or another of our committees, or in some portion of that, or even in review with, I can't remember their name.
Baseline.
With baseline. And so it'd be really useful for historical knowledge, as well as when things get brought up to us to say, hey, you know, we understand that this one's been waiting for 3 months. There's actually a reason, or we're gonna fix that problem because that really shouldn't have taken that long.
Yeah, it's kind of gets more into more traditional project management items that you usually have. Like, again, I'm formulating with those concise ones are next action by, and then if there's any comments, they usually throw them in a comment column.
Yeah,
If I can jump in here real quick, this is the version of this that has been prepared for public consumption. We do have a working draft that we work on that does have those milestones of when things are due by for baseline for the purposes of accountability. As I said, that this is the one that is intended for public consumption. The one that we utilize internally has a lot of other notes, and I can tell you that by and large, in review on there, to address your other question, really does mean that we are waiting on a complete application.
Mhm.
This is really good. I like this. And does this solve the problem about us not knowing too much before the hearing? No prejudgments.
Yeah, it doesn't have any information that could be biased.
To be fair.
And we did request that they, you know, kind of put a little bit of a disclaimer there at the top, a little reminder to our planning commission members that the purpose of this report is to provide information on the status of active applications in the town. And that because the planning commission may be required to act in a quasi judicial capacity on the applications listed, this report is provided for broad information purposes only.
Could this be posted like on the politics page or something for general information so that people know what's going on? It's not secret or anything.
You can, you can certainly, this packet is posted on the town's website in your PC minutes and agendas. You can certainly repost a link to that on,
This
you can
information is not-
redistribute that.
This information is not on the public, thing.
Oh, yeah, so I think that we do need to look at some accessibility with it. And I don't know that we've had an opportunity to run it through an accessibility checker yet.
You there?
We'll have to change.
Um,
Manage.
this is fine to repost once it's emailed out to you.
Okay,
And it becomes public knowledge and in the public sphere when it makes it into the meeting.
okay,
And so this new recording, for example, will be uploaded to the town's website, and the minutes from this meeting will capture the conversation and, you know, the origin and nature of the document. So there's nothing wrong with reposting that.
People could print it out at their own leisure and expense and it'd still be able to see everything in advance of the meeting if they wanted to come.
Certainly.
Great, thank you both.
okay. We appreciate all your work putting this together. Thank you.
I got one final item, just an FYI. Before the speakers left, I did point out the variance section in our code, because they could potentially apply for a variance.
I was wondering that myself. The
Yeah.
trustees have powers now that they.
Yeah, well, the variances are, the process is fine, but, they could conceivably apply for a variance.
I wonder too, just as a discussion to sit down, um, but anyway, the size of their lot, R1, R2, zoning, you know, all those things, conditional use, things, you've got some tools to solve unique problems that I don't know.
Well, we have to look at uses based upon what's being proposed and what's in our code.
You want to change the code.
Well, not necessarily. In that particular case, in ADU, we do have it in our code. It's just there are stipulations that go along with it.
Just those little definitions about.
Well, those tend to be the constraints. One of the things that was obviously on everyone's mind when we were writing the code was the bonsai village.
Yeah, that, everyone was so upset about that.
Yeah.
But
So
yes,
there might have been things that made it into the code based upon that experience at the time where we had the bonsai village going on as well. But those are things that can always be reconsidered.
Mhm.
For code updates. But for them, you know, if they wanted to get something moving quicker, there's a potential of the variance process.
Where's their property located?
If they're happy.
Sounds like
So
one of
that's
them,
not-
thought you pass Avenue, but I can't place where that would be. So 38500. Is it down going towards the school? Matt Road?
I'm not sure. I personally haven't made it that far into the conversation. It's been very
It looks like
complimentary
it's-
so far.
It's looked like it's just past maybe the Black Bear
Oh, okay,
going east.
okay,
Maybe. Looks like a fairly sizable lot.
2.48 something.
Yeah.
Before we move into further discussion, let's go ahead and open our public hearing. It is now 7:05. I'm sorry. That's at the wrong point.
Oh, that's the old one.
Business. I'm sorry, business.
We don't have any items for you that require a public hearing this evening. And we did not receive any applications that were ready for your review. We believe that you had wished to utilize some time this evening to discuss the comprehensive plan update outside of knowing that we had some residents wanting to enter public comment and some significant staff reports. I think that that's the bulk of your meeting this evening.
Okay, thank you. All right, let's proceed to the agenda item. That would be our discussion on the public comment.
Yeah, I just, there was a request previously, it's been a while since we met, and so I thought, well, we better try to have one. I think July 23rd, if the minutes state there serves right, that was our last meeting, so. Yeah, there's not a lot of material in here. The comp plan was meant to just stay with the agenda as an ongoing topic, and so if we don't have anything ready for that or any movement there.
Well, the board did approve the general time.
Yeah, the timeline.
Well, I think the board did approve that, so I'm sure the timelines are probably, need adjusted again. But, you want to use that document as a guideline as far as what you were wanting to accomplish. Then, discussion around that might be appropriate.
Okay. Can we pull that up?
I don't have that here, I'm afraid. I could get it over here if you give me a minute.
Absolutely.
Can you pause for a minute?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, if you want to stand by, I can email it to you on that computer.
Fantastic, thanks, Becky.
Or email it to his computer and then he can post it.
What is it we'll be looking at, Tom?
The timelines on what we want to do for the comp plan as far as
Is
any
that,
revisions, adjustments that we had talked about a few months
yeah,
ago.
has this been voted on by the trustees?
Yep, and they approved it.
When was it?
Sometime previous.
It was 2 meetings ago.
2 meetings, okay. I should remember that.
Okay. Do we have anything in place that when the bot approves something that the PC has proposed, that it gets fed back to us that, hey, this has been approved or not, or like immediately after that meeting?
No, just reporting at the next meeting or me emailing. I'm sorry, I didn't do that.
No, the next meeting's usually not
This
timely
far
enough
out, yeah.
to get, well, and it's
Right.
also usually not timely enough to give us a chance to actually do something if we wanted to get anything in place. So if and as that happens in the future, and at least for the PC, but it'd probably be useful for the other committees as well to, if it pertains to that committee, just send out a quick email, hey, heads up, this was approved, disapproved, here's the, because unfortunately,
Absolutely.
not all of us can be here at all the block meetings, and I would like to, but I got homework.
I don't remember there was a lot of discussion. It just was like, okay,
Mhm.
and that goes.
No, and that's fine.
But it'd be nice to see it all laid out, like you said, written. So,
Mhm.
Oh, that should be coming your way here now. You may have to open that up. Oh, you've got it. Wonderful. So the Board of Trustees did,
Here's the latest from the conference.
they did have 2 amendments to this. They did request that,
Okay, and there's the timeline.
Oh,
Yeah, we're definitely gonna have to adjust the timeline, but, do y'all want to start kind of talking about proposed timing on that, or wait until we have more
I
people
just
here?
didn't wait until the next meeting.
Okay, we'll do that.
And though we need to maybe get planning commission We had a retreat, the board did last Friday. Some of what we did may play into this. So I'm kind of wondering, if once we get that package, if at least the higher level stuff, we might want to leave the planning commission.
That's a great idea.
I was gonna ask you, Tom, would that have been open to the public to listen? I
It
went
was.
to one,
It was,
It was, and I didn't write it down, or I would have been.
it
Right here, right.
was a
Here's
good
all-
one. was good.
Yeah,
Went through a lot. I mean, you can see some of the results I look up back behind you.
I forgot to put that down.
just- oh,
Status updates are good. And those are positives. The other one's been taken down, I'm sure.
No, actually, we did the fourth one with that things, Trustee Bell got up, and gave a presentation on, individual strengths and weaknesses, that thing. So
Okay.
that was good.
What I might,
I was glad to see recently, I don't know, if it was, but there's a task force about nuisance trees that has started. And that's very important. So, just good thing.
if I could make
Okay.
a suggestion on your,
Right.
comprehensive
Moving
plan
on
update.
to correspondence.
I didn't have any correspondence come in for this meeting.
Okay. Discussion items? Which we already talked about the comprehensive plan, so we're there. Moving on to the next topic. Our next meeting is going to be on the 8th. And then the other two meetings that they were talking about, both the 14th and the 29th. So we have a very busy month ahead of us. Does that mean we get to wear our Halloween costumes on the 29th?
Absolutely.
All right.
What was on the 29th?
That is the budget planning meeting. They sent out an email today or recently. I forget exactly.
I believe that budget email did just go out today. We had a few things to work out and make sure
Yeah.
we.
And they have a time slot for each of the committees, so.
I didn't get an email from you today.
That one I think came from Becky.
Okay, well, he didn't get to me,
The royal you.
We'll do some test
Okay.
emails.
because I had,
That was the day, I think we called you and noticed that there may be
yeah,
some strange activity.
well, I had a hacker get in
Oh, no.
and get on my address book, and then they sent, emails to most of my address book saying, I'm trying to get something from Amazon, and my card isn't working, would you do it for me, and I'll pay you back? And it was like a $200 deal, and
At least it's not a foreign prince anymore.
most of the people, spotted it as a hack job.
Yeah,
But at that point in time, I changed my password, so they couldn't get in again. And for 2 days, I didn't get any emails, so I didn't get the one for this meeting. I'm getting them now, but for some reason, they just went away for 2 days.
It's kind of messed up.
Yeah,
On the 14th is with the lawyer, right?
The 14th is indeed the work session with town legal.
And is there an agenda for what we're gonna talk about? Or is it just kind of open?
No, there is, and it'll be posted. Yeah, absolutely.
any other comments, commissioners? All right, it is 7:15. I'm adjourning this meeting.
Thank you all. Good night.
yeah. Who wants to debate now?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think maybe I'll wait.
Lots of fireworks.
I'll look at the summaries on